Canada and the United States have built a remarkable partnership in the economy, in security, and in rich cultural exchange. But Canada doesn't live because of the United States. Canada thrives because we are Canadian.
And that was the clip from the Prime Minister earlier today, his response to Donald Trump's comments that Canada lives because of the U.S. The Prime Minister spoke to Canadians from Quebec just before his two-day cabinet meeting. With me now is political analyst Michael Gagan. Michael, good evening and thanks for your time.
Thank you.
So a lot to unpack in the Prime Minister's address today, but let's start with his message to Donald Trump and what he had to say about the relationship between Canada and the United States.
Well, first of all, obviously, Carney got under Trump's skin because he made a point. Trump made a point of rebuking him in his speech. But the fact is that Canada's military is a pale ghost of what it was, after World War II, when Canada had the third largest Navy and fourth largest Air Force in the world. And we were designing our own fighter jets and all that other stuff in the 50s. Now we have a military that's smaller than a lot of modest-sized European countries. So we have pretty much come to rely on the United States for the protection of our country. So, and also 80% of our trade is with the United States. And right now, Canada isn't thriving. Canada has close to 0% economic growth, whereas in the United States, they're getting close to 5% economic growth. I think if you asked a lot of young Canadians, if young Canadians were given the opportunity to move down to the United States, I think a lot of them would leave Canada because there'd be higher wages, lower taxes, and more affordable housing. So Canada is not thriving. Canada is in serious economic trouble.
But Michael, was it important for the Prime Minister to address those direct comments from President Trump? After all, he had that speech in Davos, as we know, which was very well received. President was very critical of Mark Carney, as we heard him talk at the same platform. Was it important for the Prime Minister to respond or no?
Well, I think he had given a good speech at Davos, the Prime Minister had, and Trump obviously got NATO to move with regards to Greenland and agreed to them taking additional parcels of land with Greenland remaining, I guess, under the auspices of Denmark. But in any event, it's all part of this whole elbows up thing. But in terms of the serious problems Canada is facing, we have an uncompetitive tax structure. We have a housing market that completely shuts out young people, and we have literally millions of people with expired visas in our country, there's serious changes that need to be made. So if Canada is going to be a strong and thriving nation, we have a lot of work to get there. We are not a strong nation. We are a weak nation. We are not thriving. We're economically stagnant. We have young people that if you choose between a closer relationship with China and a closer relationship with the United States, they will say United States, and same with Western Canada. And I think that the other problem with his speech is he had this slogan, "We choose Canada." Well, give Albertans one compelling reason why they should remain in Canada. I can't think of one. So it's one of those things where there's a lot of serious work that has to be done if we're going to save this country. And we have to move beyond good intentions and empty slogans.
Yeah, and the Conservative leader, opposition leader, said that today in his comments as well, that we need to move ahead from just slogans of Canada first. But let me talk to you about the priorities that the Prime Minister laid out today in that address. He said a whole lot more about unity and what the government intends to do moving forward, the work that needs to be done. Your thoughts as we look at the Parliament session ahead, Michael, what is it that the government really needs to get rolling?
Well, I found it absolutely bizarre that the government's going ahead with what everyone acknowledges is going to be a very expensive and failed program, and that's the gun confiscation program, where a growing number of provinces are saying, we want nothing to do with this. The Toronto Police Department said, we want nothing to do with this. And right in the midst where they're having a drive to have an independence referendum in Alberta, short of making cowboy hats illegal, you couldn't come up with a bigger slap in the face to Albertans than saying, hey, we want to take your guns away. Want to be part of Canada? There certainly needs to be a compelling argument for Canada, but it's got to be one that's based on economic growth. And if we're going to be serious about being more independent from from the United States, or let put it another way, less dependent on the United States, then we have to get serious about building pipeline to Tidewater so we can sell oil to and gas to markets other than the United States. And unless we're doing those basic fundamentals, it is just rhetoric. So, and certainly getting cozying up with China is something that horrifies a lot of Canadians, particularly in the West. So again, not exactly helpful if you want to keep Alberta, which is in many respects the engine of Canada's economy, within the Confederation fold.
Okay, we leave it at that tonight then. Michael Gagan, political analyst. Always appreciate your time, Michael. Thank you.
Thank you.